According to the most recent data available from the Department of Justice, in 2021, there were over 10,000 hate crimes recorded across the country. Of those, more than 6,500 were related to race and ethnicity. Most incidents occurred in or near residences, on roads and sidewalks, and even in schools. Here in Maine, the FBI Hate Crime Unit states 7 hate crimes against Asian people happened in the last 10 years. 5 of those hate crimes took place just within the last 2 years. Now, one Chinese American woman who lives in Somerville tells us she has been targeted as well. News Center Maine's Jack Mulmut has more on this story, along with what local groups are doing to combat hate.
Chinese called garlic chive. It's an annual vegetable.
Angela Fagan has lived in Maine for 30 years now, and she's originally from Nanjing, China.
Last time I went back China, 2019, my mother passed away.
But now, with her established life in the United States, she runs a summertime farmer's market, starting here in the spring with her sprouts.
Cilantro, onion, different herbs for part of my business.
But in Angela's small neighborhood, something else has started to grow. It's her concern over being racially targeted by a neighbor.
The person took our trash bag, dragged from here. Everywhere our trash.
This video provided to us from Angela, taken just 5 days ago. Crushed beer cans tossed around her front yard. Fagan says beer cans get dropped off by loud trucks all the time in the neighborhood overnight.
This is not just a litter, people's property, it's a hate crime.
But only in the last few weeks, Fagan says, has her house been the only target of the beer cans. She says the neighbor spotted her last year and gave her a weird look.
Somehow this person saw me last year. So he's starting to bring gifts to me.
Now the beer cans have become a weekly occurrence for Fagan. She says in her 30 years of living in Maine, she has never felt this uncomfortable that someone could be targeting her because of race.
My husband is a disabled veteran and cancer survived. For this kind of stress, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't help me.
Fagan says the sheriff's deputies suggested she get security cameras. She told us she spent hundreds of dollars to get them.
Unfortunately, those kind of incidents do happen quite frequently, I think more than people might realize.
Thomas Ling, the president for Unified Asian Communities, says racism can show itself from direct attacks to subliminal bias. In fact, over the last 2 years, more than half of the hate crimes in Maine directed towards Asian people were forms of property damage or vandalism.
At the end of the day, we believe that a lot of racism and that sort of mentality comes from ignorance.
He also says there has been a national rise in hateful acts towards Asian Americans.
And on some levels, it's of course a real tragedy, but personally, we view it as it's always been happening and now people are just reporting on it more.
Maybe a good thing for publicity and talking about racism, but ultimately working to end it for good. In Somerville, Jack Mulmut, News Center, Maine.
Now, if you feel that you may be a victim of a hate crime, the United States Department of Justice suggests you report it to your local police department.